Okay, this video is going to let you explore Bajada Hill, which is one of the coolest relics left on Route 66. On the original 1926 alignment of Route 66 into Santa Fe, to get there, travelers had to go up Bajada Hill over a volcanic rock roadway that was part of the original Camino del Real. That was the primary commercial corridor between Mexico City and Santa Fe from 1598 until 1881, when a railroad to Santa Fe was completed. Still, the road up Bajada Hill remained in use, and between 1903 and 1926, it was the primary automobile route into Santa Fe when it was New Mexico's Highway 1. During that time, laborers from New Mexico prisons built the retaining walls to shore up the roadway to prevent erosion. The original climb was a bit less than 1.5 miles long, but it had 23 hairpin turns, and it was so steep that cars with gravity-fed fuel lines had to go up in reverse because the gas couldn't reach the engines otherwise. To help with that problem, a less severe road was built in 1932 to service the ascent, and the original alignment was used only for the descent down Bajada Hill. The road up Bajada Hill was abandoned in 1937 when Route 66 was realigned to bypass Santa Fe. Since then, it hasn't been maintained and it's in severe disrepair. That makes it all the more fun to explore. Last summer, my friend Ken Becker and I had a long thought about driving up Bajada Hill, but we decided we should hike it first to see if it was passable in an automobile. We went in the morning to avoid the hot afternoon weather in the New Mexico desert. Now, Ken works in the oil field and he knows how to prepare for an exploration like this. He wore a wide-brimmed cowboy hat to protect his face from the sun. He had blue jeans, sturdy steel-toed boots. Now, I'm a city boy. I was a bit less prepared. I wore a baseball hat I bought at the Blue Swallow Motel, the Cotton Izod shorts with the navy blue lobsters on them, and my Duluth Trading Company moccasins. Not a good idea. The access to the hill from the bottom is so narrow, it looks more like a path than a road. But just a few dozen yards past the entrance, it opens up. The weather was reasonably cool and the hiking was pretty easy. Ken scampered up like a mountain goat. I dragged my fat ass up the hill with a minimum of huffing and puffing. We soon found that Bajada Hill is the fire ant capital of the world. We also saw some colored collared lizards and some horned toads. They were the only species of critters we saw during the entire hike, which was good because this looked like rattlesnake country to me. We also saw a bunch of beautiful yellow and purple blooms in the cactuses that grow out of the rocks on the sides of the road and out of the retaining walls that align the road. About halfway up Bajada Hill, the road splits. The right fork is the 1932 alignment that became the ascent to the top of the hill, and the left fork is the original 1926 alignment that became the descent. We took the right-hand fork. The grade became a lot more severe the farther up we went, but overall it appeared to us that an ATV with good knobby tires would be able to make it easily. But when we approached the summit, the road became so rough and it had so many large boulders in the middle of it, we thought it was unpassable. We plodded on, and in a few minutes we had reached the top. I was pretty happy with my performance. I hadn't held Ken up too badly and I'd avoided a heart attack. We rested a while and headed across country for the 3/4 mile walk to the beginning of the descent. There's no road connecting the 1926 and 1932 alignments, but our path was easy to find because we could see the electric wire towers that had lined the original 1926 alignment. Now, the top of Bajada Hill is a mesa that looks out over the plains, and it was a spectacular view. We reflected that centuries of travelers had seen that same vista from the summit of Bajada Hill. The downhill road was in much better condition than the uphill side. I had less huffing and puffing, but it was still a difficult hike because the footing was so unstable. About 1/4 mile past the fork dividing the ascending and descending routes, Ken noticed an ancient petroglyph. We knew that petroglyphs were supposed to exist along this road, but we flat out just missed them on our uphill climb. There were a dozen or more of them, and we took our time to explore and we took plenty of photos. Now, these petroglyphs were created between 1300 and 1600 AD. The people who left these markings knew their meanings and they could communicate through them, but the meanings are totally lost today. We started back down, and a few hundred yards from the bottom of the hill we encountered a guy from Africa who was driving up. He stopped to chat with us and told us he drives his Land Rover up there all the time, so that's good for us to know for the future. We told him about the petroglyphs, which he'd never seen, so we got to trade information with a fellow explorer. That was fun. A few minutes later, we were back to our starting point. The round-trip hike was about 3.8 miles, and it took us a bit over 2 hours to complete it. It had been all we'd hoped for, and we're glad to find that it's passable in an automobile. That's going to be an adventure for another day. A couple of words of caution. This is a fun hike, and I can't wait to try it in an ATV, but it's dangerous. If you become incapacitated on La Bajada Hill, you could die up there. Don't try it alone. If you get in trouble, there likely will not be any help available. The road surface is unstable, and it would be easy to fall and break an ankle or have some other really bad injury. Stay hydrated. I didn't bring enough water, and I worried about it when I was up there. Be sure you're in reasonably good physical condition. Other than these worries, this is a blast. It's an obscure part of Route 66, and you'll have a lot of fun. Insane Sam out.